nobullying.com. The movement against bullying.
My name's Dr. Joe Taravella. I'm a clinical psychologist doing private practice in New York and New Jersey. I have a specialization in marital and family work. And in my work, I specialize in working with children, adults, and families with a variety of issues, from learning issues to emotional issues and psychological issues. I'm also a dad to almost triplets, and the three of them keep me very, very busy.
Wow, sounds like you're very busy, is right. And thank you for taking time out to join us today and shed some light into bullying and give us some answers, I guess, and of course your view on some of these questions. Do you think that bullying is as big an issue today as it was 10 or 20 years ago?
Yeah, I certainly do. You know, I feel like bullying is a big problem, and cyberbullying is on the rise among children, teens, and young adults. And, bullying statistics indicate that physical assaults have been replaced with cyber assaults, which include harassing, threatening, and humiliating peers online. And studies indicate that there's an increasing rate of domestic violence at home, which is related to an increase in bullying both online and at home.
Wow, that's very interesting. And you see a difference then in how bullying is happening today. Of course, we've got social media, internet. Everyone seems to have a mobile phone that connects to the internet and SMSs. So as you're saying, it's changing from physical to more tech savvy.
Yes. As you said, everybody has a mobile phone, and they are using them all day long. There certainly is a difference in how bullying happens today. Historically, we saw verbal and physical forms of bullying, but now cyberbullying is on the rise so much more, as I just said. And today, everybody has access to electronics, and information is spreading much more quickly than it ever has before. Most of the cyberbullying is happening in chat rooms and in social networking sites, and a lot of children frequent these sites. So, some statistics say that about 77% of students admit to being the victim of one type of bullying or another, and other statistics say that 1 in 4 kids will be bullied sometime during their adolescence.
Wow, so big numbers, which is a shock to people who haven't heard them before.
Yes, it is, especially if you have children that are in this age bracket.
Yeah, for sure, and concern and worry about that as well. With the current media coverage on cyberbullying, do you think things are improving? Are people more aware of it? Is that actually helping the cause, or maybe causing more problems?
Well, I think it will get better, and I continue to remain hopeful that the situation with bullying and cyberbullying is improving. But much more needs to be done to stop the physical and emotional harm that's done to these kids. It certainly takes a village of children, parents, educators, counselors, law and government enforcement, as well as social media companies to make a difference here. And I think if everybody can work together, we will continue to see a decrease in bullying and cyberbullying.
Excellent. I think you make a very valid point there. It's actually everyone coming together. Often we hear when it comes to bullying that it's down to the schools, it's down to them as a duty of care, it happens there, but actually communities, people, social media sites that it happens on. Everyone is a stakeholder, I guess. Of course, some maybe have more responsibilities than others, but as a community or society, we all have to do our bit and fix this problem, which is very true. In your practice, you deal with children and you help families. Have you ever came across cases of children being bullied?
Yes, I have. In my practice, it's been rare, but I have seen cases where the bullying is severe. Oftentimes, the bully is a relative or a neighbor, and quite often it has already stopped. And so what I see is the damage already done by the bullying, and try to help the individual as much as I can to work through this and get to a better place. I also see parents connecting more within the school system. And given the recent media coverage, with bullying and the increase in suicide rates among children, which is very scary, parents are becoming more proactive when there is an initial occurrence or a problem. So, they reach out to the schools more quickly now in an effort to protect their children before something really catastrophic happens.
And you also work with families as well, and you say you see the impact on people after the bullying's happened. Do you see family life being impacted, or what are the consequences of someone being bullied?
I do. I still see that some parents believe that hitting is an appropriate form of discipline, whereas in other families, yelling has become kind of like the new hitting, So I try and explain to parents that, many of us are overwhelmed trying to keep it all together, and at times we may overact or kind of flip out on our kids. And really, we just need to take some time to develop strategies to help us not to allow this to happen. So for example, if there are two parents in a home, I work with them and try and let them know that, if you're getting to a place when you're reaching a 10 and you're going to flip out, have the other parent step in for you, to try and recognize those times when you are really at your limit, and kind of leave and let the other parent take over, so you have a cooling down period, and when you come back, just try and use your words with your kids. Tell them that, I'm angry because of this and that, let them know that I could be angry, but I always love you, and there's a difference between that, and with my children, since the time they were infants, I continue to reinforce, the phrase that hands are for hugging and words are for loving. And reinforcing that over and over again, to instill in them, what kind of words we need to use and how we should use our hands.
Excellent. No, very good advice. And I think I was on your website recently, and I might have seen Hugs of Three. Is that?
Yes, Hugs of Three. Yes, there's children's books that my best friend and I from graduate school wrote. Hugs of Three series. It deals with all kinds of families, and we wanted to target that from the infancy stage, and so we created board books to do that. To have families have special time together, and for letting everyone know, regardless of your family makeup, structure, and composition, a family is a family, and whatever their makeup may be, it's your own special family.
Very good. No, sounds very nice. And on your website, you have a page, Children in Crisis, which when you read it, it brings the reader onto the secret box. Would you mind explaining that page and the secret box to us as well? Yes,
sure. I came up with the idea of the secret box working on a prospective TV show, and out of all the patients that I've worked with, secrets have existed since the beginning of time, from governmental spies to anybody within a family structure. Yeah. And people hold on to secrets because they're afraid of the disapproval that they may receive from others. And, we know that secrets are unhealthy. They divide family members. They prevent us to fully grow and can lead to painful miscommunications. So the secret box helps individuals reveal their secrets safely and effectively, in an effort to sustain healthy interpersonal relationships and family relationships. So in my practice, I use the secret box. I have one in my office, and patients can write down their secret and put it into the box, and even allowing that process to unfold helps release them of the toxic and negative energy that they're holding on from these secrets. And I always allow them to feel like they're in control of this process. And when we are going to read that secret, or how we're going to read that secret, is entirely up to them. And so they feel a sense of safety, and that they are in control of this as well.
Very good. So communication is the key to strong family units, and that's something that you try and enforce with all your patients through the secret box?
Yes, I do. I really try and facilitate an open level of communication, and that individuals feel that they are part of a team within their family, and a child needs to feel safe in their home and supported by their family. And so, communication is one of the keys to that.
Very good.
Also, love. I think that's number one. Love certainly makes up a family, and providing a home environment where the emotional temperature is warm and inviting, so that children feel comfortable to speak to their parents.
Very good. And you suggest that the secret box could be used in schools. How would children use it as well?
Yes. So, I believe that secret box would be very valuable in schools, because oftentimes children are afraid to come forward with information out of fear that they will be retaliated against or outed by speaking to someone about any kind of bullying or abuse that's going on, whether it's inside the school or out of the school. And so, the secret box allows children to safely and anonymously, reveal secrets of who's being bullied, and someone in the school administration would be responsible for looking at the box each day and investigating what's happening and taking the necessary actions to, put a stop to this. And as we talked about before, it really takes a whole team of people, and so, the administration can talk to parents and other teachers and stuff to really put a team together to try and stop the abuse and bullying that's going on.
Very good. And I can see how that would work, because I guess bystanders will see things happening, but often that information doesn't make it to the person that can actually help
Yes.
the target. So actually having a secret box would definitely help solve that problem. And have you come across adults then who have been bullied in your practice as well?
I have. What I see are many cases of domestic abuse in the home, and I think that's where the bullying really starts. Oftentimes the abuse is stopped, but people certainly need a safe place to discuss what happened to them in an effort to move forward from the abuse or the bullying. It can be a very difficult and painful process to speak about this, whether it's currently happening or happened in the past, and a lot of people try and forget about it. But we really need to talk about it and learn how to cope with it in order to move forward in a more healthy manner, and things definitely can get better.
And again, we brushed on it earlier, you do believe that there is long-term damage to people who have been bullied, and from what you're saying, it sounds like it can be a cycle where parents are having problems at home, and maybe the children are seeing that and taking that to school and into their own life. Is that something that could happen?
Yes, it definitely can. And there's been research done about this as well. There's actually long-term damage for both the victim and for the bully. And, some of the long-term damage for victims are, they can become chronically depressed with suicidal tendencies. They engage in self-destructive behaviors, like drinking alcohol and consuming drugs. Some of the long-term effects for the bullies are they have a higher chance of getting convicted of a crime and going to jail. They become dependent on drugs and alcohol. They have difficulty maintaining long-term relationships, and have higher chances of abusing family members, ironically. So, I was looking at some of the research on this. There was a new study that came out that found victims of bullying in childhood were 4 times more likely to have an anxiety disorder as an adult. And bullies were 4 times more likely to have an antisocial personality disorder as adults. Bullies who were also victims were over 14 times more likely to develop panic disorder as adults, and almost 5 times more likely to experience depression. And the research also shows that men who were both bullies and victims were over 18 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts in adulthood, and their female counterparts were over 26 times more likely to develop agoraphobia. So we see that there are many long-term effects for both the victim and the bully, which is quite sad.
Yeah, and I have to say then the title of your page on your website, Children in Crisis, is definitely apt for that. As a society, how do we break the cycle? What do you think we really need to do to try and move away from bullying, or to move away from this problem?
There's a lot of things that are already being done and so many more that can be done. First, parents need to educate themselves on bullying and cyberbullying. They need to be proactive, but not to overact with their children. Also to be aware of the signs in their child, whether they start seeing signs of sadness or depression or anxiety, trouble sleeping, even bedwetting, withdrawing from friends and family, not wanting to go to school, not even wanting to go on the computer anymore, or failing grades. Teach children to try and ignore things. Save something if it's on the computer that they can use for purposes later, and also to report things, and to use their privacy settings on your computer, flag and report inappropriate posts. Have their kids take a break from the whole cyber world and try and enjoy their friends in person, and setting up play dates and things like that. Also getting involved with school officials, being part of that team, and learning about the school's policy on bullying, and just really educating himself. Continue to work on some of the positive things, like your child's life skills, by promoting self-esteem, and encouraging activities and skills that they enjoy, teaching them to restrain themselves, to think before they act, to foster good social skills, to teach good hygiene, how to cope with rejection and disappointment, to have respect for others and themselves, as well as empathy towards others. I could go on and on, teaching assertiveness, not aggressiveness, stay involved in school sports and any kind of activities that make them feel good, and so they feel that they're also part of a team. As for online stuff, also talk to them about what not to do. Don't impersonate others online. Don't change someone else's profile. Steer away from gossip. And to not be a bystander. They can report bullying to school administrators. They could offer support for the victim. And they could also feel proud that they're doing something right by others. Kids can also start an anti-bullying program at their school, or be part of one. This is a great quote that I often think of and give to families and children as well, and it comes from Sigmund Freud, one of the most famous psychiatrists out there. Words have a magical power. They could bring the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. And so we need to be cognizant of the words we use to our children, and also model being impeccable in our word and using good words in kindness and in love.
Very good. Some brilliant advice there, so thank you very much for that. And if anyone wants to find out more about the secret box, or even reach out to you and try and connect with you and seek some help, where can they find you?
Yes, I have a website online that is www.drjoetaravella.com, which is drjoetaravella.com, and there's lots of information on there, about kids and families in crisis, and how to get to a better place in life, because it is certainly doable for everyone. And even though we may feel we are in a place of despair and desperation, things can not only get better, but they can certainly get great. And I want people to hold on to that message.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for taking time out and sharing your advice today with everyone who's watching this video. Very much appreciated, and thank you again. I'm sure we'll have some people reach out to you and visit your site as well.
nobullying.com, the movement against bullying. Did you like this video? Did you find it informative? Please support us by pressing like, sharing with your friends, and subscribing. For more information, please visit our website at www.nobullying.com.